What's up, everybody? It's Cole.
And Adam.
And today, obviously we are playing a bit of Fortnite, but that's not the entire video. We're going to give a little bit of a breakdown about everything that's happening this week, because as far as gaming and geek stuff, there is a lot going down this week. Bumblebee was released in December, but it's still going strong. It's still going strong. And have you seen it yet, Adam?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, Bumblebee is amazing. We're not going to go into spoilers, but I'll go ahead and give a quick review, and then you can see whether you agree. But overall, I thought the movie was very great. However, they have confirmed that the movie is a soft reboot to the Bayverse. It's not a hard reboot, so it still ties into the Bayverse. Excuse me. That is what I do not like about it, because they made the perfect movie for a hard reboot of the Transformers series.
Yeah.
And they made the perfect movie to start a hard reboot to the series. However, it is still tied to the Bayverse, and that is what I do not like. I mean, I enjoyed the Bayverse. The Bayverse obviously had some consistency issues, but the biggest problem with Bumblebee being a soft reboot to the series is that it already has inconsistencies with the Bayverse. So, to put what I'm talking about into perspective, at the beginning of Transformers, Bumblebee actually arrives on Earth about like a week or two before the actual movie starts, for the first Transformers movie.
Yeah.
And then in the, Transformers: The Last Night, that bit of info is retconned, and oh. Hey, I actually got a kill.
Well, he tried to just do you like that.
He did try to do me like that. But, so, yeah, so, it is a soft I have one health.
Yeah,
oh my
god.
But yeah, but in
someone flicks you and you die.
Oh yeah, someone flicks me and I die. But so it's a soft reboot, and in The Last Night they retcon what happens, and Bumblebee's been here since like before World War II, because in The Last Night they confirm that Bumblebee was one of the fiercest warriors in World War II. And it's like, okay, that's fine. That's not a bad retcon. That's whatever. And now we get to Bumblebee, and in the movie, Bumblebee arrives like it wasn't. It didn't give like an exact date, but we can assume a small amount of time before the movie actually starts. And the movie's time frame is in late 70s, right? 77, around there. And in around San Francisco area, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I believe around San Francisco area. And that's where it takes place. And so that is, and also some other stuff, but we can't get into that because that's spoiler territory for other inconsistencies as far as how it goes with the Bayverse. So, but overall, Bumblebee was a fantastic movie. You get a nice feel for it. The fact that they went G1 character designs for a lot of the Transformers was amazing. I went and saw it with my girlfriend, and we were sitting in the theater, and I'm sitting there like, hey, that's Cliffjumper, that's Ironhide, that's Ratchet, that's all these people. And so for most people who are fans of the G1, even though that was way before my time, it's really cool seeing a lot of the characters that you are like aware of. At least it's really cool seeing a lot of those characters. But yeah, the movie in and of itself was fantastic. I would recommend it to anybody who is a fan of Transformers. And if you weren't a fan of the Bayverse, this movie is definitely for you, because there's definitely a pace change compared to the Bayverse. There is a definite change of pace than what was actually in the Bayverse. What else? Into the Spider-Verse. I have not seen that. Have you seen that one?
No.
You have not seen Into the Spider-Verse, but from what I hear, it is a spectacular movie. Yeah, you have. Well, it's Peter Porker.
I know
It's
it's
Peter
Peter
Porker, Spider Pig, Peter Porker. So you have all of that, and let's see what else. So there's Peter Porker, there's Spider Noir, there's Spider Gwen, there's a Peter Parker from an alternate universe. Oh, I can't break that. Oh, hey, a bush. But yeah, so I have heard nothing but good things about that movie, and so that is one that I am definitely looking forward to seeing. Another movie this week for limited time, Dragon Ball Super Broly. I'm going to see that tonight.
I'm probably gonna see it before it.
It's limited time, so you better get in to see it as soon as you can, because not sure how long that is going to actually be around. So there's Dragon Ball Super Broly. I am completely ready for that. I have avoided all the spoilers that I can. I have avoided looking into the movie whatsoever because I want to go into it with a very fresh perspective. But the movie's going to be spectacular, and the one thing that I'm kind of afraid of is that it's going to be basically like the minutes are an hour 40 minutes long roughly from what I've seen. It's an hour 40 minutes long. My biggest fear is that it's going to be like an hour to an hour and 10 minutes of like story, and then like, oh no, well I died. And it's going to be like an hour and 10 minutes of actual like story, and then like 20 minutes of fighting. But the way they've played it up, most of the movie should be, obviously you're going to have some backstory, you're going to have some actual stuff going on. But the way that it appears is that there's going to be a decent portion of the film is going to be fighting in action. And so, I mean, obviously now the big thing for everybody is that Broly and Gogeta are now canon. And the fact that Gogeta can go... You see Gogeta go Super Saiyan Blue, and you actually see Vegeta go Super Saiyan God, which in the show, he has skipped God and went straight to Blue, if you've followed with Super at all. He skipped... Yeah, so he skipped Super Saiyan God, went straight to Blue. But we see him go God, and in a lot of the trailers, you see Gogeta fighting Broly, and you see Vegeta and Goku fighting Broly. And the one thing that I have heard about the film is that you also see Whis and Broly fight. You do see Whis and Broly fight from what I have heard. So that's the big thing for so far. Those are the big things for movies. There's a few other movies coming out, but I think as far as geeky things, that's probably... Oh! Have you heard the news about Disney and the Star Wars Theory YouTube channel? So, Star Wars Theory is a YouTube channel. It's a solo run by this guy. He might have a few people who help him, but I think for the most part he has said as far as running the channel goes, he works alone. He wanted to make a Star Wars fan movie about Vader. So he talks to whoever he needs to talk to with Disney or whatever whatever group of people he needs to talk to about that, and he's like, want to make a Star Wars fan movie. Can I use, like, I don't want to sink my own money into this. Can I use crowdfunding? And just asks about all these things. They say, no, you can't use crowdfunding. You can't monetize it, so you're not allowed to run ads. And, like, a few other stipulations. So he's like, okay, I can work with that. So he sinks a lot of his own money into making this Vader fan film. It's called Vader Shards of the Past, I believe, or something along those lines. Most people probably know what I'm talking about.
I've heard of it, but I haven't.
So what happens? So he sinks a lot of his. He sinks like thousands into this. He sinks thousands into making this fan movie, and it was well received. He hired his own composer to compose music in the style of Dave Williams. Was that? I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the original composer for the Star Wars music right now. The original, like, you know, Star Wars, yeah. So the composer, he hires a composer to compose music in that style. So he finishes up the film. puts it out on YouTube for free, no monetization. He sourced it all himself in terms of money, and all of a sudden he gets a notification. His fan film has been copyright claimed manually. So it was a manual detection, which means somebody watched the video and then manually said, "Hey, this is breaking copyright laws." So it's one thing if YouTube's auto copyright does it.
Yeah.
And so now it's manually claimed. So somebody physically went in there, saw it, and the claim was that a rendition or something that sounded, or it was over a piece that sounded similar to the Imperial March. Now, whether it was, I haven't seen it, but I've read articles and I've listened to a bunch of different people discuss this. So it's either a rendition of Imperial March or it just sounds similar to Imperial March, and that's where the copyright came in. So Disney or whatever group claimed it as copyright. They control the video on YouTube. They've put ads on it. They've monetized it, and basically they stole it from the guy who created it. And after he followed all their rules for everything, and so now they're catching a bunch of flack. And so I believe he emailed or contacted them wondering why they claimed copyright, and then that's when they told him it had to do with the rendition of the Imperial March or whatever. But they have also told him if he appeals to the copyright claim, that they're going to put a strike on his channel. They're going to put a strike on his channel. They're going to delete the video, and something else is going to happen. So basically, he's going to get screwed over by this, and so his response to that is he's like, I'm not going to claim the video because he's like, Disney, you can take the money that you think you're entitled to or whatever, but just know that this video isn't. I mean, this fan film isn't for you. It's not for Lucasfilm. It's not for whatever. It is for the fans, and it's going to remain for the fans, whether you try to monetize it or not. This is not your film, and we all know it. And he had a whole series planned for this, and so he's planning on going forward with the second episode. He's planning on going forward with it for the Shards of the Past or whatever.
Yeah.
And so now the big issue here is that now everybody's always assumed that because of previous actions that Disney hates the Star Wars fan base. This is doing nothing to make people believe otherwise, obviously. And so now there's big issues where everybody's like, okay, Disney, we're going to boycott Episode 9, and we're just going to treat you like you're treating this guy who put his own money and so much time and effort into this. You want to treat him like crap, we're now going to treat you like crap. Disney has done nothing in response to this, but now the ball is basically in Disney's court. Are they going to respond to all this and treat this guy fairly, give him a cut of all the money that it's making? Or are they not going to respond at all? What are they going to do about it? And so now that's a big thing that's, at least for YouTube and everything else, that's one of the most, I believe that's a trending thing right now because of all the videos that have come out about it with this whole Star Wars Disney fiasco. Because the guy followed all the rules that they set for him, and then they dick him over. And a lot of people think it's because this fan film was so well received, everybody loved it. A lot of people think it's because Disney's embarrassed that one of their fans with a limited budget can put out something that puts whatever, that's so well done that it puts everything that they've been doing to shame. Yeah. So you at least heard about that, right?
I've heard about it.
Yeah, and so that's just a big thing now all of a sudden that just came up. It's like, okay, Disney, what are you going to do to fix this? Because now everybody hates you even more than a lot of people already did. So I believe as far as films go, that is now at least what we can talk about. Because Venom's so past. That was a fantastic film, by the way. Venom was a fantastic film. Oh, incorrect. Spider-Man Far From Home trailer released.
Oh, did it? Finally?
Far From Home trailer released yesterday. you see, so Far From Home, assuming it takes place after Endgame, not sure. Nick Fury is in the trailer, as is a lot of people have heard by now that Jake Gyllenhaal is playing Mysterio. You see Mysterio. You do see Mysterio in the trailer. And it's the classic Mysterio. It's like the green and purple suit, and he's got the globe head, like the big globe helmet.
Yes.
He's got that. And so they're in Europe, I believe, and so that's why it's titled Far From Home. Is they're on a summer vacation, him and like the class or whatever, and the trailer does not give away too much. You see Nick Fury, you see Mysterio, you see Peter. And you see a bunch of, like, elemental beings. There's one made of wind, there's, like, one made of water, there's one made of earth. So not sure how that's playing into it, but we will see. Because, now, I'm ready for it.
Endgame hasn't come out yet.
No, Endgame has not come out yet. That is slotted for this year.
So sort of talked about that.
We could, but...
Have you seen the trailer?
I've seen all the trailers for Endgame. I've seen all the trailers for Endgame. I have not seen Aquaman, and I do not feel comfortable talking about DC simply because they have a very iffy track record. That's why we're not going to go into Aquaman or DC or anything like that. I've heard it's okay, though.
If they make a Cyborg movie, I'm gonna go see that.
I have heard that Aquaman is decent, but I haven't seen it, and I have not read any reviews, so we're not going to get into Aquaman. But now let's talk about, let's break into trading card games. So there's been a lot of information on Wave 2 of Transformers. We're going to have a completely separate video for that. Vanguard and the standard reboot going very strong. The Answer of Truth drops Friday.
Yes.
You're excited for that. You're building Great Nature. We'll get a deck profile for that, and we'll probably have one or two. Because you're gonna pick up a box, so we're at least gonna have one opening for that. What else? There's a lot of sets coming back to back because we have Miyagi Academy Card Fight Club, and then a month after that we have Vilus Deleter.
Yeah.
So 3 months in a row we have set drops. One extra booster, two main boosters, and so there's gonna be a lot of stuff that we're covering with that. And then Transformers drops March. There's going to be a lot that we're... Excuse me. There's going to be a lot that we're doing with that, too.
They made a lot of changes, added a lot of stuff that we're excited to talk about.
Yeah, and so we'll cover the spoilers for that in another video.
Oh, yeah. See, Magic...
Well, the big one. Ravnica Allegiance has its sneak peek its pre-release this week, I believe. And I was talking to my friend Lane today. My friend Lane, he's a big player. He does qualifiers and stuff, and he'll play in big events. Guy's a fantastic Magic player. He said he's not really excited for the Allegiance set. There's like 1 or 2 cards that he's looking for because comparatively, and I agree with him, Allegiance is nice, but so far Guilds of Ravnica is beating out Allegiance for the hype. Yeah. The big thing is the other 5 Shocklands are now getting printed in Allegiance, which is fantastic. Yeah, I'm gonna ditch the plane. So yeah, other 5 Shocklands, and there's some decent cards in that, but I feel like
I see a lot of more modern use cards.
There's a lot of Commander use cards too in this upcoming Allegiance
really
set.
So much standard.
There's going to be a few cards that have a decent impact for Standard. However, when push comes to shove, I think that Guilds is still going to be the biggest influence on Standard. Azorius, I can see Azorius doing something. If you've looked at any of the Azorius spoilers, I think that Azorius can do something because they have a lot of control-y cards that are coming out. So they might be able to go somewhere. Not too sure, but so confirmed Planeswalkers though, we have Kaya, Kaya Orzhov Usurper, who originally premiered in Conspiracy 2 Take the Crown.
Yeah.
As Kaya Ghost Assassin, I believe that was her name, Kaya Ghost Assassin. And her whole point in the story was she assassinated Brago, King Eternal. But She was like one of the first planeswalkers that I ever saw that had absolutely no plus abilities. She was all minus abilities.
Are you going to snipe people?
I'm going to try to snipe people, but you gotta remember, I am ass at this game.
Well, I'm sorry, but you did make it to the top 20 just flying around.
That's how I make it above top 20 in all these solo games. They added planes, I get in a plane, and I fly around. I am cheap. I will do whatever it takes to get top 10 finishes.
Unless you die. No. Okay.
I have gliders, so I can deploy gliders if I think I'm going to take damage.
Oh, there's mushrooms you can use for shields.
I think I can't. Oh, yeah, because they give you, like, they give you 5. May as well grab them up while I can.
Yeah.
What? Was this here a second ago?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see it.
Someone must have fought and died. They just ditched.
Mushroom. Oh,
there he is.
I see him. Where you at, boss? Got him.
I'm ass at this game. Kill someone.
Okay, 1 kill. The guy who's going to take first is probably going to have 10 kills. What do you want from me?
To kill the guy who's got 10 kills.
Oh, God. I'll take that. So, yeah, we have... what else? Yu-Gi-Oh! Upcoming is Savage Strike, which, I'm trying to think of the archetypes that might have an influence. Guard Dragons are going to have an influence on the meta. And everybody's really excited. Well, personally, I am. I'm excited for Cyber's Quantum Dragon and Borlud's Savage Dragon. Yeah. They're probably not going to have an impact on the meta, at least from what I've been seeing. I don't think it's going to happen. I've been wrong before. So, there's Borlud, Savage Dragon. And then for the Pokemon TCG, we have Team Up.
Yeah.
Which is going to be interesting because they're bringing back that concept they did once before of multi-cards, however, except I think this time, or from what you've seen, is it still, do you need both halves of the card, or is it one card that has both? So it is a solid card that has both halves. What they have
is they have Venusaur and...
Venusaur and Celebi. They have Snorlax and Eevee. Pikachu's with Zeraora, right? That new legendary. Pikachu's with somebody, isn't he?
I think it's with Zekrom.
Yeah, Pikachu and Zekrom. You're right. Pikachu and Zekrom.
And then Wailord and Magikarp.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you're more of the... Oh.
It looks like Wailord's eating Magikarp, and it's funny.
That's awesome. What else do you have for...
Card games coming out?
No, there's nothing really new card games that are coming out that I have heard of. So,
tough that snipe, boy.
I have heard that the Pro Tour for Magic has added new formats. So they're adding new formats for the Pro Tour, and I believe Pauper is one of them. And you're not familiar with Pauper, are you?
No.
Pauper, I believe, is just common and uncommon. Nothing higher. No higher. No rares or higher. However, I think if a card has been reprinted as a rare, where it originally was a common or uncommon, I believe that one is still legal to use for Pauper. But they've been so yeah, everybody's pretty happy with that. They've added new formats for the Pro Tour, which is going to change some things up. And I think that's about all the new.
Done anything? The online
arena updates as normal Magic does. I think that's about all we have for card games because we'll cover Vanguard. We'll cover. Oh, I mean, I guess technically one of the new big things for card games is because Bakugan is back now, and it has its own weird TCG play. Here's where I die. Yep. Yep, there it is. I got close, though. But yeah, so I believe, because Bakugan has its own weird TCG thing, Xavier's really excited for that, and he'll probably give us a rundown on how that works. But yeah, it combines both the original toy aspect, but now it also combines, or now it also features a deck, and like your deck
Really?
is your life. It is very weird. So
Very
I'm sure.
unusual.
So Xavier will probably give us a rundown on that.
Any console games, PC games?
The big one that I'm ready to talk about, Kingdom Hearts 3. It's coming out next Tuesday. I've got it pre-ordered, and I'm going to run a playthrough on it for the channel. I'm running a playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Final Fantasy's coming out soon too.
Final Fantasy 7?
Yeah, I think so.
The remake for 7? See, I've heard no news on 7. I have heard no news on when the remake of 7's coming out because they're taking their sweet time with it.
I actually pre-ordered that one through GameStop.
Did you?
Oh yeah, 'cause I love Final Fantasy.
Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Oh yeah.
That's one that came out for the Switch. I love the game. And there's already talk about...
One's Justice, that's pretty good.
One's Justice is good, but that's old news. Because now Jump Force is all the new news.
Oh yeah.
Jump Force is the new news. Because that's... and a lot of people... And I'm sure a lot of people have figured out now, like, why a lot of their favorite shonen characters aren't in it. It's because the characters that are in it are Shonen Jump specific.
Okay.
Because there's like three or four like monthly or weekly things that are shonen. They're also part of Jump, but it's Shonen Jump specific manga characters that are appearing, which is why if you're wondering why some of your favorites aren't in there, that's the reason. But
What's some of your favorite Shonen Jump characters?
What?
Which are some of your favorite Shonen Jump?
Oh, I'm a big Ichigo.
Okay.
I am a big Ichigo. Love Bleach. When I was a kid, I did not appreciate it, but I love it now. I absolutely
I kind of
love
like
it.
the movies better than the anime.
They're not bad. I'll give you. They're not bad. However, yeah, I'm a big Bleach guy. Big One Piece too. Big into One Piece.
I like One Piece.
I wish they would cut the crap with all the fillers, but I'm a big One Piece guy.
Have you caught up yet?
I'm caught up. I'm caught up. I've stopped watching the anime because I've just been reading the manga because it just takes so long.
Yeah, they don't really have filler in the manga, and that's what I like about it.
Exactly. What else? Oh, but no, we're still on video games for right now. So, if did you hear about all these? So, backtracking to Kingdom Hearts a bit. There was a lot going down a couple weeks ago because there was a guy. I never got his name, and I'm glad I didn't get his name because a lot of people with. Even as crappy as this guy was involved with some illicit business because he managed to grab physical copies of the game before it was released.
Really?
And he was selling them on the Facebook Marketplace. Now, this isn't something that you probably heard about unless you were following Kingdom Hearts news like I was. And so this guy, he obviously had dealings with some illegal things, obviously, because he had acquired, I think it was 30 copies that he was selling on the marketplace.
How the hell did he pull that off without...
I am not sure, but getting back into it was because of this. Now all of a sudden there's a lot of videos out and about of Kingdom Hearts 3. So I avoided that because I want to be completely surprised going into it. However, so there was things with that, and like it seems like every week people have like new clips or something from the game, and I've just been avoiding that like the plague because I want to be completely surprised when I go into this playthrough. Have you seen the trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3? You're probably not a big Kingdom Hearts fan. That was before. I'm gonna say before your time. It was before you were probably playing console games. That's why I'm saying it was before your time, or at least you didn't pick it up at like the prime age that I did. So it came out in early 2000s. Like I think it was 2002 was Kingdom Hearts.
I was 2, so no.
You were born in 2000?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so yeah. So yeah, you were not old enough to be playing console games.
Yeah.
I was. My friend showed me that, fell in love with the game, and I had to wait years for Kingdom Hearts 2, and now days, a week, less than a week,
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3, and I am so ready for that. But other games, obviously, we talked about. There's been some big game news recently too, but I can't think of the name of it because there's the new.
Fire too?
Yeah, there's been stuff with the I'm trying to think right now. Far Cry New Dawn, that's been picking up a little bit of action. Resident Evil 2 remake. The Resident Evil 2 remake. You've heard about that, right?
Yeah.
That is one that I am looking forward to. I think I might pick that one up.
I'm not the biggest fan of.
I enjoy all Resident Evil, but by far the original Resident Evil games were far superior.
Yeah.
The original Resident Evil games were far superior. There was a lot more fear to it. And I don't know if that's because I was younger or whatever, but that had a lot more fear to it.
The camera angles, really.
The camera angles were they were so hard to navigate.
That's what made it the game.
And I mean, the camera angles are still somewhat similar. However, and I believe now it's not a locked position camera. I think in some rooms there still might be, like, as you enter a room, there's like a locked position. You have to navigate through the locked position. I think there's still some of that in certain areas, but for the most part, it's now the traditional Resident Evil over the shoulder from a lot of the things that I've seen. Darksiders 3, that released recently. Not a lot of press coverage, and I think that's just... And I loved Darksiders. I played the first and second, but I think it took them so long to get to 3 that a lot of the news about it was just covered up.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of the hot games that everybody was looking forward to, you know? What else? What, are you excited for anything?
How already discussed what I was excited for recently. The Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy VII is definitely going to be a big one.
Have you heard of the new Anthem game that's coming out?
I have heard of Anthem, and that, I mean, I get some Destiny vibes from it, simply in the case of, like, how the characters look, you know?
Yeah.
But I've heard Anthem is supposed to be really good. What else? Oh, Spyro Reignited Trilogy, because that came out a while ago. But even then, that was very
December, right?
Yeah, that was December, but that was very well received too.
I love the original Spyro.
Well, because there was the Spyro trilogy, and then earlier last year was the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy remake. And I've seen a lot about those, and those are quite popular.
Let's see. New ones. They're making a new Mortal Kombat, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so.
That'll be what, the 11th?
Something like that. Yeah. It'll be very, very big. I don't believe there's been any news about the Smash Ultimate DLC. There's the first one, which is Joker from Persona. And then I know the Piranha Plant was confirmed to be in the game. I'm not sure when he's supposed to enter, though.
Right.
I'm not sure when Piranha Plant is supposed to actually be in the game. What else recently?
Okay, I did lie. There's a game that's coming out called Biomutant that
You're excited about that.
It's for PlayStation only, I believe, and it's a post-apocalyptic world ARPG, if you know what that means.
Yep.
And it delivers real-time melee, shooter, and mutant ability action, replayability by varied and deep character progression. You're basically a small little mutant, and you basically have to survive in this world.
So you said real time. So is it turn-based or?
They haven't really revealed much of it, but
So is it real? So it could be real time in the sense that it's like an MMO real time, where no matter what happens, time is progressing, or real time in the sense that it's turn-based. They haven't said anything about either or.
No, they've showed some, not really gameplay. It was like an animated short showing off the game. So I'm if they have any news on it, we can talk about that. But the graphics look stunning.
Yeah, we'll definitely be keeping up with a lot of these as more news develops. We'll definitely be keeping up with that.
That's the character you play. Like you're this. Like,
okay,
small...
so yeah, I've seen a little bit about that, I believe, and I don't know if it was just. It may have been like YouTube ads. It may have been.
Also,
when I was watching gaming
update,
when I was watching game trailers.
Yeah. That looks pretty interesting.
It does look quite interesting. So we talked about movies. We talked about games. Let's talk about some anime. Goblin Slayer Season 1 finished up, correct?
Yeah.
So, I was gonna say, it was one of those anime that I just forgot about. So, how do you like the ending? Do you enjoy it? Because
it ended.
They changed up, because I know they changed up the order of events. They put the Sword Maiden before the
Lord.
The war. Yeah, the big war.
Yeah. It wasn't really a lore, it was a siege attempt by goblins.
Yeah, to attack the farm, correct? It was the farm.
Yeah, so they basically took the middle of the manga and put it at the end for the anime. I kind of like it. It did make sense because...
I mean, personally, I think it flows a little better that way because you go from like
spoiler warning if we do it.
Spoiler alert. But if they know about goblins, I mean, if they've watched Goblin Slayer, so I think it flows a little better that way because you go from like, in terms of like what Goblin Slayer does, he goes from like in the story, he goes from like top tier, and then he goes back down to middle tier in the immediate arc in terms of like the encounter and everything. So I think as far as the story purposes, it makes sense a little bit.
Yeah, because like also the thing people were like, how he had trouble with that goblin brute or whatever.
The champion.
Yeah, the champion when he already killed a lord.
Yeah. So that's for Goblin Slayer, and I enjoy the manga. Manga's really good. If you do plan on reading or watching, it is graphic, so that is something to take note of.
Watch the anime. If you can get past the first episode,
and that's what I tell people. And that is what I tell people about Food Wars, but nobody can get past.
I love Food Wars.
People get so weirded out, and it's like it gets better. It's not as bad. I mean, that's the first couple of episodes too, but then they tone it down a bit. But overall, that's very good.
You know what I like about Food Wars? That their action scenes is better than some fight scenes.
Cooking has never been more entertaining.
Let's see, My Hero Season 4
My Hero Season 4 is coming out. That's October, too, so we still got towards the end of the year. But that is going to have... Already, because for anybody who's watched you, obviously, in the trailer, you have Mirio Togata, who looks like Tintin. So, Tintin to the internet, it is Tintin. You have Izuku, you have Small Might, because he's without his powers. And then for people who aren't sure of the character's name, who wears just like, I believe it's a white coat and he's got the glasses, his name is Night Eye.
Yeah.
His name is Sir Night Eye, and that is who Mirio interns with. There are some interesting relations that are going to be revealed in Season 4, but it is also going to have, depending on how far they go, so they obviously have... Like, they're going to have this upcoming arc with Overhaul, who is Chisaki, who's got the, like, he's got the plague doctor looking mask.
Yeah.
So you have the Overhaul arc, and depending on how far they choose to go, they might get into the Culture Festival arc. In both the Culture without giving anything away, obviously the Overhaul arc is going to have a confrontation in it. It's going to have multiple confrontations in it, but in the Culture Festival, if they choose to go through the Culture Festival, it is going to have two of the greatest fights so far that the anime has seen, without a doubt. It is going to have two of the greatest fights. You know what I'm talking about, right? Oh, no, you haven't gotten to the Culture Festival yet, have you? Yeah. Or in the manga, you have?
Yeah, I've right up to it. And that's why it's like...
When you finish the Culture Festival arc, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because I don't think you've gotten there yet.
Midway? I'm guessing I'm midway. I don't know when it ends though. I forgot what chapter I'm on. It's up there. Let's see.
One Piece is still alive and kicking.
Oh yeah.
One Piece is still alive and kicking.
Yeah, they're now attempting
For the
Big
anime,
Mama.
for the anime, they're in the Whole Cake Island arc, and right now it's going to be whoever's going to make a slimmed down version of the fight where it's literally only the fight and throws that on YouTube, they're going to be a god, because that's why I haven't watched it yet, because it's been more than 10 episodes since this fight started.
Yeah,
it has been more than 10 episodes since this fight started, and they just now got to basically what is the halfway point as far as the fight in the manga goes. They have just gotten to the halfway point.
Yeah, it's like,
or what is roughly the halfway point of the fight. But currently in the manga, they are they're pretty far in the manga.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to give away anything on that for people who are waiting for that, or they're not currently caught up with that. But they're on the next arc. But interesting stuff happens if you haven't been keeping up with One Piece. Some interesting things happen with that. But the big thing that I'm ready for, because I'm going to do it's Ruby, obviously. Ruby, Volume 6. Yeah, Volume 6? Yes, Volume 6. I believe it's Volume 6. Because... yeah, we are on 6. We are on 6. I have them all lined up there somewhere. So they are on Volume 6. Now, Volume 6 ends in 2 weeks, I believe?
You keep...
2 weeks or next week.
You keep up with it more than I do.
2 weeks or next week. So Volume 6 wraps up, and Genlock also comes out.
Yeah.
Which is another big show that they've had in the tube for a long time.
Another.
I'm going to be covering Genlock as that comes out, because that's something that I wanted to do, because I really didn't. We were doing a bit of this when Volume 6 released, but I'm probably going to do a volume recap over that, talk about some of my favorite moments.
Yeah.
Probably have Xavier, because Xavier's big into Ruby, and we'll talk about some of our favorite moments and give like a big recap for that. A week after, because I'm a first member, so I see it all early.
Yeah.
So I'll wait until the finale airs for the non-first members.
Yeah, the non-first. But
as I like to call my friends who are non-first, I like to call them plebeians.
Yeah.
But I don't feel that way about the people who are non-first. You guys still support the community. You're awesome. But I save that joke just for my friends.
Yeah, because he's mean.
I am a meme lord. But yeah, so I'm gonna talk to Xavier. We'll probably do a volume recap on that. But there's been a lot happening in this volume, and I wouldn't say I mean, obviously the writing gets better as it goes. So far, I have not had many complaints with Ruby. There are some things that didn't feel right, but it's like they're doing it and they're executing it wonderfully. As far as my opinion goes,
yeah.
There are some things that are like, okay, it doesn't quite make sense, but that's not my business if it doesn't make sense. That's Miles and Carrie. They're doing what they do, and I have the utmost respect for them, especially when they have to put up with people who are like me. And I've talked about that to you before, about toxic fandoms and how I am a part of the Ruby fandom. And I both love and hate it, and I love it for all the good that it does and for all the good that people find in it, and then I hate it for those exact same reasons as the toxic people make it unbearable sometimes.
That's a lot of communities sometimes die because of the fan base.
But Ruby is going strong, and I'm ready to see where that goes, because I think there's 1 or 2 episodes left. I'm not spot on. There's 1 or 2 episodes in Volume 6 left. But Genlock is also coming out, and I think that's going to be spectacular, because they got some big names in that. They have Michael B. Jordan.
Really?
They have Michael B. Jordan, and for people who aren't aware, he was Killmonger in Black Panther. He was Killmonger. Then they also have David Tennant.
Really?
David Tennant has a voice in Yes, the Doctor. David Tennant is a voice in Genlock. I can't remember who he is. Well, I mean, I can't remember the name of his character, but like he plays like a scientist in the show, I believe. And so they have David Tennant, Lindsay Jones. She's got a part in it. I'm trying to remember who else from the company. A few other people from the company have parts in it, but yeah, the big names like David Tennant and Michael B. Jordan. There's a lot going into this.
Yeah.
Oh, and RTX tickets. They went on sale this week. They started Monday for the box members. Today, which is Wednesday, the... whatever date it is, Wednesday the 16th, for first members, tickets went on sale. I was a box member, but I picked mine up today because I got paid today. And then they go on sale for public on Friday. And it's still the early bird rates. And I think that saves you about... $10 to $15, I believe. Still, like, early bird, even with early bird rates, if you get it shipped, it's like $121. Because you have to deal with front gate tickets, handling, like their service fees, basically. You have to deal with that. And then you also, so there's that. And then, like, since I'm getting it shipped, an additional $7. So, like, that's not a big deal. It's like, okay, whatever. I'm going to RTX again. I loved it. Or, I still love it, I should say. But, yeah, it's fantastic. I'm so excited for that. Because there's probably going to be a bunch of stuff that they reveal there, too.
Oh, yeah.
So we strayed a little bit because we got to Rooster Teeth from anime. So let's backtrack a hot minute.
A new anime that's coming out. It came out like I think January 1st. It's called Rising of the Shield Hero.
I have heard of that. You have read it, have you not?
It's so good. It's still going, but I've caught up and it's so good.
So that is one that you would definitely recommend. Then.
Yes, it has realism to it.
I was gonna say, give us a brief overview of what we got there.
Okay, so I'm just gonna, without really spoilers, it's basically kind of transport to another world type deals.
There have been a lot of those recently. Some of them are executed well, some of them are not.
This one is really executed well. Because they didn't start off overpowered or anything. You had to work your way up to it, and the main character kind of got just dicked, and it made him grow as a character, and the character development is really well done, at least in the manga.
At least in the manga?
Yeah, they released episode 2 this morning, and I've already watched it, but so far, it's going close to the manga, and it's really good. I just hope that they keep it up.
There's a guy in there.
Yeah, I see him. But I just hope they keep it up well. So, because, like, the manga is very real. It's realism. So, stuff that would happen in the world would basically happen. Like, if you kill someone, you know, stuff happens. I like it. It's not none of that fairy tale where you got that plot armor or anything.
Say what you want, I love fairy tale.
Shots at fairy tale.
Say what you want, I love fairy tale. There's plot armor in a lot of anime. It's just something that... Excuse me. It's something. It's a part of a lot of these things. It's a part of a lot of these games. Here, Adam, you play around.
Oh, jeez. Probably worse than what I'm at.
Well, you'll figure it out. There's another one I can't think of right now. Another anime. I'll look it up real quick.
See, some people might hate me for this, but the 3rd season of Sword Art Online is pretty good.
I do not like Alicization, or however it's pronounced. Not a fan of that. Not a fan.
It's a different.
It's different. It's different. Don't get me wrong. Like, I was a fan of Sword Art when it first released, but then it fell prey to the same thing as Attack on Titan. Now, some people are probably not going to like me for this, but like the first time I watched it through seasons 1 of both Sword Art and Attack on Titan, I'm like, wow, this is really good. And then, like, rewatching it, it's honestly not that good, in my opinion. Like, and Attack on Titan is decent for the style of show that it is, but I think comparatively to some other some other shows, or it just does not compare. But that's, you know, that's my opinion. That's my take on what it is. But yeah, what? Oh yeah, that's right. I was going to look up what anime I was thinking of. Oh, the big news recently. Another big news. Season 2 of, just throw your grenades. Throw. Right trigger. Just throw. Right trigger.
Yeah.
Right trigger. Really? Huh.
Cool.
Oh. That was strange. Interesting.
The triggers aren't working. I hope you hear me pressing them.
Okay. There was Mob Psycho 100 Season 2. That was a big thing. What else?
That time I got reincarnated as a slime.
That's been a decent big one in the news, but One Punch Man Season 2. That's coming out this year. One Punch Man Season 2, and that's going to be... I love One Punch Man.
Boruto is still going strong.
Boruto's still going strong. I have not been keeping up with Boruto. Fairy Tail Final Season... That's a big one. Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains has surprisingly been pretty good. I have thoroughly enjoyed Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains.
Black Clover, that's...
Black Clover's... I haven't started...
The first season just
haven't started that one. It's on my list.
Read the manga.
That's what I've been told. The Vanguard reboot, that one has been going. That one's pretty good. A lot of these other ones I have not heard of, but I think that's all the time we're going to take up today. We've rambled for a little bit. So that was Cole
and Adam,
and that was bringing you our weekly breakdown, and we will see you next time.